Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're back to another Hump Day Real Estate with Kendall in the DMV. Who is this lovely person we have with us today?
Hi, everyone. I'm Deizshel Setzer, better known as D, the mortgage queen. And here is simply what I do. I help you make your dream of homeownership a reality. And if you have a home already, I hope you leverage your home for wealth creation.
Good, good. So when we're talking about today in 2023, the home buyers, let's talk about the home buyers first. What do you tell them right now that there's the shortage of inventory, there's interest rate high? Talk to the people. Tell them what do you tell
Okay.
those folks?
The reality of it is, for those of you who are still sitting on a fence, meaning you heard a rumor that the interest rates were going to drop, you heard a rumor that everybody's going to discount their house to half price or quarter. You're sitting around, you're waiting. And while you're waiting, guess what's going on? Your rent is going up. Your rent is increasing. 100% of rent is being flushed down a toilet. That means you're working hard to support your family, and you're not even realizing the financial impact that you're having for the future just by paying rent. The market is tight. You keep on waiting for it to get loose. It's not going to get loose anytime soon. It is still a seller's market. Everybody went, oh, no, it's still a seller's market. You're still having competitive bids. Houses are still not staying on the market, the good ones. So I want you guys out there who's listening to me, if you've been sitting on the fence and you go, oh, I'm going to wait till next year. Oh, I'm going to wait till the interest rates drop. Oh, I'm going to wait till the prices come down. The whole time you are waiting, you're putting a plate in front of your children's face. You're filling the plate with food, all the good things, the meat, the vegetable, and the starch, and the dessert at the end. And as soon as they go to sit down, you're snatching it from them. You're leaving them hungry. You're leaving them starving. If you're paying rent right now, you're putting you and your financial, your whole family, you're putting your next generation, your legacy is at stake. God said you should own the land. He didn't say be a renter. He said be the lender, not the borrower. I know it's a scary time, but here's the deal. When you buy a house, you're taking stock in your family legacy. You get to increase the number of exemptions. If you're working W-2, you get to bring home more money on your paycheck. When you file your taxes, you get to declare some things you can't declare right now, like people who work from home. 25 to 50% of the home is being used for commute. Guess what? That's a tax deduction. Your computer, your fax machine, your telephone, your internet. These are the things a lot of us are still working from home. As a homeowner, you get the benefit from on your tax forms. But the only way you get the benefit is if you own a home. Your property taxes, the money that you're paying right now in rent, you can never see that. But if you have the right tax accounting, and I'm not a tax expert, you'll have a financial advantage to being a homeowner. Now, that's just one side of it. So let's talk about something else. How about the ability to write on the walls? The ability to paint your walls any color that you want them to be painted. The ability to change and modify any appliances anytime you feel like it. How about the ability to put the key in the door and know you done took stock in your family? It's all about you and yours. Do not listen to the hype. Do not keep delaying. Do not put yourself on hold. I dare you to make the best decision for you and your family. And that's to get started. You got to get started. Take the first step. I hear so many people. People are still believing, and it's crazy to me. People are still believing out here. People of our color. Oh, you need a 680 credit score to buy a house. Well, if that's what you want to believe, but that's not the reality. So let's talk about credit scores for a minute. For a VA loan, VA is not contingent upon credit score. So if you're a veteran or a surviving spouse or have served 18 months in the active reservists, you may be eligible for the VA home loan program. Credit score, wait for the draw to drop, wait for the ball to drop, 500. 500 minimum credit because it's not credit score driven. The way VA underwrites their loan is going to be based on the amount of money that you have available to spend at the end of the month. They're not heavy on credit scores. You served your country, or your spouse served this country. So if you're a veteran, let's talk about something else. It's 100% loan. Closing costs. In order to get your closing costs, and this is for all programs, you have a number of resources. Number one, there are so many state and federal funds right now. Even the lenders themselves are coming up with down payment assistance programs. So you don't even have to go to the state program. They're giving 3% FHA. So let's talk about FHA. A lot of people believe you got to have a 580 credit score for FHA. You don't. But here's where the difference is. A 580 is going to get you needing a 3.5% down. If your score is below 580, you may still qualify for a loan. It just means you may have to put down more money. Your score does not have to be 580. Your score does not have to be 600. Your score does not have to be 640. Conventional loans on the other side, 3% down. And yes, most lenders are requiring a 620 credit score. I got to talk about down payment. I got to talk about where that money is going to come from to close the house, to buy it. Because we're in panic mode. And when you're in panic mode and you hear your friend did this and you hear your sister did that and your cousin did this, everybody's story is different. Your mortgage should be custom tailored based on you and your family needs. You do not have the same circumstances as anybody else. They may be similar, but they are not the same. And I say that, don't let nobody else write your story for you because they can't. You need to get with a professional. I am a mortgage broker and lender. You got the excellent agent right there. He does the show every Wednesday and he's giving it up. He's giving you some knowledge. He's dropping them money bags on you. You just have to be willing to listen. So down payment assistance. The lenders are, number one, they're giving out money right now. Take the opportunity to apply to see what you qualify for. The state of Maryland, Baltimore City, I can't even tell you how many programs are out there, but you have to be resourceful. You have to be willing to take that step. Let's talk about friends and family. Now, everybody say, now, I look at people's Facebook page. I do. I can't even say I post every day. I used to post every day. Now I just try to get on when I'm trying to, like now I say, I got to get this word out because there's money out there and we're sleeping on it. So I'm back to being more active on Facebook. But listen, a lot of you have 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 friends on Facebook. If they really are friends, if they really want to see your family do well, are you aware that they can give you gifts They can give you gifts for down payment assistance. They just have to demonstrate that they have that money in their account in order to give it to you. That's your friends and your family. Those of you have been working on your job or maybe even left a job and started a new job. If you have a 401k, if you have a thrift savings program, you need to realize that that money is sitting there. That money is there for you. You earned that money already. You earned it. And if you're anything like me, because the numbers don't lie, if you're looking in that portfolio right now, and I don't want you to take my word, I want you to look for your circumstances. Look at your portfolio, your thrift savings, your 401k, your hour, and I just want you to look at 6 months, the last 6 months. Some people never look. I need you to look because you're losing money. When the market crashed previously, do you know why so many people had to go work at Walmart? Because they wasn't paying attention to the numbers. I need you to pay attention to your numbers. So instead of that money that you worked so hard for in order to get a significant amount, not even a certificate, 2, 3, 4, anything counts, everything counts. Use that money to flip the bag. Use that money you have already, withdraw it, because you can withdraw it to buy a house. Contrary to popular opinion, I have people say, oh, I can't. And I tell people all the time, call your human resources office. Find out exactly how much is in your 401k. Find out the terms and conditions of withdrawal and get the money. I need you to be, and don't be afraid to ask. But don't let that money sit there and dwindle down and not try to use it to build your future. Because if you're going to be working 5 more years from now, you'll have an opportunity to replenish that money because you're continuously working. So you can rebuild that money again. More importantly, you're using to purchase an asset, a home, which is going to increase in value in most cases. So we talked about family and friends. We talked about the 401k and the thrift savings plan. Let me give you some old school. If you look around your house, look down in your basement, look in your closet. I'm sure if you're anything like me, there's something you're not using anymore. Something with probably still tags on it. You never even wore it. Something your kids didn't outgrew. It's hustle mode. There's no shame in getting and using everything you got to get what you need. Have a yard sale. You don't want people coming to your house? No problem. Get a $20 table at the flea market, Patapsco. Do not sit back and let the things, they gaining dust. They're gaining dust. Giving them the goodwill, that ain't gonna put no money in your pocket. You having enough fortitude to take them to the flea market, to have a yard sale, that's gonna put some money in your pocket. And this could be for real. So a lot of you like to drive. I don't like to drive. I'm telling you right now. You say, Deizshel drive? I said, Lyft. I'm like, who drives? Oh, you can drive my car because I don't like to drive. If you like to drive, there's no harm and no shame in doing DoorDash, Instacart, Lyft, Uber. We're talking about being resourceful. Lyft, Uber. Okay. Oh, I don't like to do none of those things. Well, okay. What do you do well? Do you cook? People tell you you got the best tasting chicken in the world. People say they love your sweet potato pies. Sell dinners. Pick a day, a Saturday or Sunday, sell dinners. Take them to the nursing homes. Fix some pies and cakes. Sell it by the slice, $10. What I'm telling you is don't get so stagnated, worrying about how am I going to do this? Faith is walking in the unseen. You just have to take the steps. You have to take the steps. I won't give up on you. I got to believe in my heart that those of you who are listening know that you deserve it, that you deserve a home on your home. There's nobody stopping you. Being faith, they can't live together because even I get scared sometimes. And I consider myself a faithful woman. I'd be like, oh, God, okay, God, all right, what to do, God? But quiet yourself. Find some space. Find some quiet space. Write it out. Draw it loud. I'm going to be a homeowner. Nope, you better than that. In the next 90 days, I'm purchasing my house. I don't know where it's going to be at, but I'm purchasing it. Don't even say it to yourself. Call your friends. I'm buying my house in the next 90 days. I'm going to own me a home. You got to declare it in the atmosphere. At night, if you got a recorder, if you got an iPhone or you got a Google phone, don't make a difference. You have a thing that's called recording. You can record your own voice. Say to yourself repeatedly, I'm going to be a homeowner. The homeowner is going to happen to me in the next 90 days. Put a time limit on it. In order to put the time limit on it, listen to it at night. Put it in your ear. Put it in your spirit. I want to know what it feels like to become a homeowner. I want to know what it feels like because I need you to think it, feel it, say it, see it. I need you to execute. I need you to do it. I need you to take the steps. I dare you to be bold enough to take some steps for yourself because I believe in you. I know you can do it. And I know that we can find the resources to get it done for you. But you got to believe it. You got to want it. You can't let nothing stop you. And here's how you know if you're working with the right people. True story. I had a customer come in, and when he came in, he sat down. I said, well, let me run your credit. Let's kind of see what you qualified for. He started patting his feet. I said, what's wrong? He said, Miss D, I don't even want to tell you. I said, well, you can tell me anything. I ain't going to bite. He said, well, I just left Bank of America. They told me I didn't qualify. So I don't want you to waste your time. I said, I'm never going to waste my time. You here right now, that means God sent you through the door. That means we're going to walk through this thing and we're going to claim it's going to happen. He said, I'm scared. I said, well, if anything comes back on your credit, I have enough expertise in the field to get your credit up. So we're not even worried about credit. You have your down payment, we're good. I said, just let me look and see. I ran his credit. I said, what are you talking about? Your credit score 584. He's like, yeah, I don't qualify. I go, let me run DU and just so I don't overtalk or just lingo. Desktop underwriting. Once we take all your information and we put it in an application, that goes into the federal government system. It's called desktop underwriting, often referred to as DU. Now, it's an automated system that's connected with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. It's going to come back 3 things: approved, eligible, ineligible. You're going to be approved eligible or you're going to be ineligible. But it also is going to detail as to why it's eligible or why it's ineligible. You do not have, for those who are listening, please be sure that your mortgage professional has actually run DU, because a lot of people are getting fake, or I call phony pre-qualifications, because they just looking at your income. You need some more than somebody looking at your income. So once we run DU, once I ran DU for him and he was approved eligible, I was able to instantaneously find him a lender. This is a grown man, 44 years old, crying in front of me, getting his wife on the phone, crying because he didn't even believe. One person, all it do is take one dream killer, a dream killer. Anybody who tell you you cannot buy a house is a dream killer. You need to say, when they open their mouth, you need to say, stop it. Your words are poison to me. I know what they said in school, but words really do hurt. I can't have that in my atmosphere. And all that is to say, you have to work with somebody who knows how to win, who wants you to win. Because it's real easy to look at somebody with a 660, 6-foot credit score and say, yeah, hey, yeah, let's get to work right now. I will say sometimes money can be the root of all evil. And I say that to say that everybody in this business is not in this business because they generally want to help people. If it proves to be difficult, if it proves to be challenging, they'd rather not mess with it. That's the way of the world. That's why it's crucial that you surround yourself with somebody who deals, regardless of your credit scores, not just about your credit, who's really taking a holistic approach and they're actually having real live conversations with you. Because one thing that people never think about, I think about it all the time. I always ask all my first time home buyers, I go, what are you going to do with the toilets? Because people don't think about that, right? I'm buying the house, I'm getting the keys. Well, it's not a brand new house. Most people end up replacing their toilets. That's an expense. So when I talk about having a holistic approach, that means we're talking about not just the money. What are your goals are? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years? Not just where, but how do you plan to get there? How long do you really plan to stay in this house? Are you planning to stay in a year? Are you looking to sell it? Are you looking to move up? Just really examining where you are. Because unless you, so that I call them quick fixes. See, anybody can, I tell them this, we all use the federal government system. It's all the same federal government system. It's the same. Whether it's Bank of America, whether it's PNC, whether it's UWM, it's all one system. So it's not the system. It is working with somebody who has not just your interest at heart right now, but we want to talk about the future. Can you find that person? Is that person still going to be in business? What do people say about them, period? What is your gut telling you? What do you feel inside your stomach when you talk to them? Are they inspiring you? Are they encouraging you? Are they giving you good, solid advice? Not because, oh, they work with my cousin. My cousin told me to use them. No. When you go find a car and you go spend your hard-earned money, you're not going to one dealership. You're going to look at all the cars you want to look at. You're going to test drive them. You're going to make sure it's the right color. You're going to make sure the seat vibrate or go back and forth. You're going to have everything that you want in that car that you're about to buy. If you do that much for a car, why not do 10 times as much for the most important investment that you're going to make in your life? But it's about moving. You got to, like I said, I dare you to take some steps. Like, oh, I'm going to wait 6 months. Well, what you waiting 6 months for? Well, I'm in a lease. Well, did you know you can buy your lease out? Most apartment complexes have a built-in provision where usually they only want 2 months to buy your lease out. Well, that means, well, if you buy a house, do you not know you skip the first month mortgage payment? So essentially, you're paying 1 month, and are you really paying it? Because you're instantly gaining equity. You're instantly gaining power by being a homeownership. Is it worth it? Heck yeah. Yeah. So that's why I'm looking at you guys and I'm telling you, if you're listening, I dare you. I dare you to choose you. I dare you to choose you. I don't care what this one said. I don't care what that one said. I don't care who you talked to before. If you talk to me, you may get sick of me because I'm the type of person. What time are you going to do it? What day are you going to have it done by? Because you got to be accountable. And there's no ducking me out because there's text. I FaceTime. I got an iPhone. I FaceTime. Oh, well, wait a minute. My doctor you told me you was going to have it today by noon. It is noon. So you got to do some work. I'm not going to paint a picture like it's going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would own a home. But it's not supposed to be difficult. It is supposed to be a process that has been explained to you where every step of the way, before it happens, you haven't been told about it. You already know what to expect next. You already know the lender is going to keep on asking for something until the day you close. You already know. So that's what experience gets you. It doesn't matter. It's not matter if you have years in the business, but if you're not keeping your feet to the fire, when you're not caring on what's going on, you can't properly advise people. That's it. I mean, if you had a license for 30 years, if you had it for, you know what you talk about. And talking about it, I have to talk about credit. Oh my gosh. Credit is king. It is the one thing, no matter who you are, what color you are, they don't care if you're purple or purple. When you pull that score, people are automatically going to form an opinion about your finances, good or bad. Maybe good and maybe bad. The credit model has changed. If you looked at any of your credit card statements, because a lot of us, we just pay it. We on auto pay. Y'all know about that. We on auto pay, so make sure we don't miss no payments. We set it up on auto pay. Or just in case you don't know, if you got credit cards, set it up on auto pay so you never miss a payment. But because it's on auto pay, we're no longer opening the emails. We're no longer opening the letters. We're just paying the bill. I got something right now. Newsflash. Credit cards went up all over. Every one of them. So maybe where you used to been paying 19, 18%, you may be paying 39. That's right. You may be paying 39% right now. You need to check where you are. That means you need to, if you haven't checked, get on the phone, call them. Hey, what's my new APR? Because it's changed. There's no such thing as a dumb question, but numbers don't lie. Is it wise to pay 40 cents on a dollar? That's long shot. But that's how they're getting us. because we ain't watching the numbers. We so busy in la la land. We happy. We paying our bills on time, but we ain't watching the numbers. We wasting our money. We don't even know we paying it. So when we're talking about credit and credit score being king, we already talked about that you can start off with a 500 credit score. You just have to make the step, right? A lot of people always ask, they said, Deizshel, well, I heard it was a great big hit if my credit score is over 620. Here's the reality. How much of a hit is it for you to not buy a house? What kind of hit is that? You can always refinance any property after you make 7 consecutive payments. If the rates go down, good. You got some debt, good. There is a way to navigate the numbers so they can benefit you. That's why you need somebody who's knowledgeable on both sides of the business. Credit models. You know, they used to say, everybody say, well, first it was 50%. Oh, you can use 50% of capacity. And capacity is the amount of creditor that the credit extended you, opposed to how much you currently use. So on $1,000 at 50%, the capacity would be, you're not supposed to go with 500 on that card. Do you guys know what the new capacity is? And when I tell you, it's going to shock you because nobody is educating us. It's 10%. You want to see your credit score move? You got to get your capacity 10% or less on each card. 10. How to play this game. Because it's a game. A lot of you saying, well, I use 50% every month. So a lot of you say, I use the whole thing every month. You're never, ever, 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 ever supposed to use 100% of any creditor's allotted line. It impacts your score substantially and it's going to drop. It's going to drop. And not because, oh, well, I paid it on. No, because you got to understand this is a credit game. And I just told you the new rule is 10%. If you have a credit card and you know that you're using over 10%, you're using 20, 30, 40%, here's what you do. You call your creditor and you say, I need a credit line increase. You sit down, before you make that phone call, you sit down, you look and see how much you're spending each month. You look at your line so you can know how much to ask for. Because what you're going to ask for, what you're spending, you need to know what number to ask for to keep your credit cards under 10%. That's the play. But if you don't ask, they ain't going to volunteer your information. If a lot of people say, well, my credit score ain't moving, it's staying the same. If you have 3 credit cards, if you have 4, if you have 5, do not get into the habit, because it's a habit, of paying everything on one card. You need to balance your credit over your entire portfolio. I don't care if it's just a gas or a bag of chips. In order for credit to go, they have to see that you're responsible. And setting things up on auto pay, that's good. But they also are still watching if you're still spending. Yes, you can have cards and you're like, well, I'm not using that card. I haven't used that card in forever. Use it. Use it. You have to use every credit card you have in order to balance out your ratios, your capacity. You have to understand, which a lot of us don't. A lot of people are still telling me, well, I pay off my credit card at the end of the month. Well, here's the problem with that when you're trying to build credit. If you went to the bank and you withdraw $500, you came back, you deposited $500, then you went right back and withdrew it again. That's you're canceling everything out. There's no movement. In order to show any lender, any creditor that you're responsible, they're looking to see what you're using and they're looking to see how you're paying it. So yes, I'm telling you, do not ever pay your credit cards off at the end of the month. We need a track record. We need to see that you're responsibly able to use that card, even though you're on auto pay. You gotta leave the balance. You gotta leave some balance because credit cards report a month behind. So you're paying it off. There's no record. You got 500, it's going to say 0. It's not showing usage. Usage. You got to say it with me. Use it. I got to use it. I got to use it before I lose it. That's how you got to remember. I got to use it before I lose it. Because if you don't use most credit cards in 3 months, they'll send you a letter, some 6 months, telling you they're canceling your card. So we got to understand this thing about credit. We got to understand about capacity. We got to understand. So I'm going to talk to you real quick because I know we're rounding down on time. There's no such thing as bad credit. There's no such. I got it. There's no such thing as bad credit. There's only credit that needs to be improved. There's only credit that needs to be improved. COVID took a lot of people out. A lot of people were living off their credit cards during COVID. And it's okay. Guess what? This is life. You're going to have some ups and downs. It's not going to go perfect. It's not. Don't beat yourself up anymore. You're too good for that. What's ahead of you is better than what's behind you. You just got to do something. Like I said, you got to flip the bag. You got to take some action. And don't be afraid. Because see, we're so prideful. Oh, I'm good. You ever meet anybody, they're always good? Like, I'm good. Ain't nothing wrong with me. They got them red bottoms. They got a Gucci pocketbook and their bank account sitting on E.
So since you're on that point of credit, one of the things that can you real quick speak to the homeowners about refinance real quick?
Okay. So when we buy a house, we get complacent with paying a mortgage. And I can tell you, interest rates were down to 1.75 at one point, and some of you were lucky enough to have it. Others of you are still at 3.25%, and that's a good mortgage rate. But here's what you're not doing. You're not watching your numbers. So even if you have a 2.5% mortgage rate, and that's great. But if you got a Lowe's card that's 39%, if you got a Home Depot that's 29%, if you got a Macy's that's 26%, if you got a Walmart that's 30%, if you got a Target that's 30%, you may got 2.75 or 1.75 or 3. But on all your other bills, your creditors, maybe you had some floors done, maybe you had some windows put in. All those interest rates are now 3 times as much. It's not a win for you. You're going along, paying along just to get along. But numbers do not lie. You owe it to yourself to take a look at where you are. If you look and you're seeing you're paying 29, 26, 19%. I know you got a good rate on your mortgage, but you're paying too much out right now. The debt ratio, that's how they're going to get us. That's how they tricking us. They brainwashing us. Oh, you got a good rate on your mortgage, but you ain't watching no other stuff. And you're wondering why you're struggling, why I feel like the mortgage is choking you. Because it is. Do the smart thing. Rates are still below 8%. They change every day. I read they change every day. They change 3 or 4 times a day. Do the smart thing. Get low. Consolidate all that debt into one low payment. One payment. I guarantee you, if you add it up, and this is how you know if you're winning. Add up your monthly payments, add up the mortgage, look at the interest rate. If it's a good refinance, it's going to cut a couple $100 off those payments. You're going to pay less. Even though your interest rate today is going to be higher, your outlay of cash that you're paying is going to be lower. Because where you're paying the mortgage 1 week, the Macy's another day, the Target 2 days later, it's still the same amount of money. It's not the same amount. You're spending money. The money is still going out.
Yeah.
You're still responsible for it. So look at it and say, this may be a great time, now that I've reviewed the financial situation, for me to save money, because a lot of us, we're not even thinking like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're just thinking, oh, I got 2.75 on my mortgage. I'm good.
I've heard that several times this week alone.
It's the difference between being good and great, right?
Yeah.
And only great things can happen when you know better. Because again, a lot of us, we're on auto pay. We're not paying attention because we want to be responsible. We want our bills paid on time, but we're not following the numbers. Follow the numbers. Numbers will not let you wrong. And don't be afraid to look at your number. So a lot of us don't want to know. And I got to talk about this because we had a lot of homeowners who took that COVID relief. So COVID relief came in maybe 4 months, real quickly. The first one was that you paid it back by a certain date. Maybe they gave you 6 months, but by this date, you have to have those payments up. The other was modified, where you paid your regular mortgage and you paid a little bit on the mortgage. The most common way most people did was they took the whole 12 months. Some people took 18. Here's what you don't realize. The government didn't give you that money. Anytime the government gave you something so quickly, everybody should have thought about it. And I'm not blaming anybody for not knowing. The government, that they don't do anything for free. They're in a business that make money. It's not for free. So a lot of people took the 40 years, some of them took the whole thing and said, put it on the back of my mortgage. Here's what you don't realize. You now have a second mortgage. You have a second mortgage now, whether you realize it or not. The question is, how much is that second mortgage for? This is another true story. I had a girl buy a house in Bowie, service veteran, now a consultant. She bought a $500,000 house. I was happy for her. Called me up, Deizshel, I want to refinance now because we know values went up. I said, okay. So she started sending me my papers, and I see this modification. I'm looking at modification. I said, well, you got a second mortgage. She goes, no, I don't. I go, well, UWM is your primary, but now the government owns whatever the back balance is. So I said, let me call UWM and find out who the second party is, because it's different parties. The government has different people who they sold this paper to collect these payments. It's not going to be the same as your mortgage company. We had to send a written request for the payoff. But she was thinking she only missed 6 payments. She was thinking she was like $22,000, $25,000 behind. Well, what the government failed to disclose, because it's in really small print, really like that small, like you could miss it, like you really gotta look to see it. She owes $80,000 for missing 6 months mortgage payments on a second mortgage. She's not the only customer. I had a customer who bought an $80,000 house, same thing. The government didn't give you guys anything at all. They put most of us, I thank God I just paid mine, but for the rest of a lot of people who put it on the back end, you need to find out how much that second mortgage is for. It may be at 0%. I get that. But when you go to refinance, when you go to sell, it has to be paid off. And no, it is not the 6 mortgage payments you missed or 12 mortgage payments. It's going to be 3.5 to 4 times whatever that was. And that's how they got us. And it's a hard spill to pop. I have people tell me, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. Deizshel, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But part of empowering yourself is knowing what you have. And people say, well, how could they do this? Well, I didn't read that. I said, well, I get that you didn't read it. But do you actually believe that something as simple as saying, I got COVID or I need COVID relief? A lot of lenders didn't even require any documentation. You didn't think something was wrong with that picture? Okay, well, we're on this picture of what's going on wrong in this world with the homeowners, even not even homeowners. We're going to talk about the PPP. Yeah, a lot of you got LLCs, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just giving you some financial facts. You got these PPP loans. They were loans. They were not grants. Some of you applied for the forgiveness. Some of you couldn't get the forgiveness. Some of you got so much money, they only forgive a certain portion of it. So when you're filling out your loan paperwork, you are failing to disclose the PPP loans. Wake up. This is America. We're in a technology age 2023. There's no such thing as a secret. And it's coming back. The lenders are reporting a report that I can tell you, I don't have the capacity to pull it. It's called a full debt disclosure. So any type of PPP loan you took out, any type of payday loan you took out, anything that you thought was not on your credit report, was not on my credit report, it really didn't happen. Yes, it happened. And now the lenders have access. They're pulling this report on everybody. And it's catching a lot of people off guard. Because I even had to try to convince the client. She said, yeah, I got the PPP. I said, okay, did you think it was a loan? She said, it doesn't say loan. I go, yes, it's a loan. And it's affecting your debt ratio. It was not on my credit. The lenders are pulling a debtor's report. You may have thought you have hit it, but the reality of it is now, it's part of you, it's attached to you, and there's no way of getting around the numbers. So I say this to say, when you're dealing with professionals, please fully disclose. Fully disclose. The same thing with these student loans. Student loans are federal debt. There used to be a time where they weren't going to use it. They were saying, well, if it's deferred for 2 years, we're not using it. That has all changed. They're counting your student loans in the debt consolidation. So I'm going to give you one bit of advice for the student loans, because I see how time is dwindling down. If you have student loans, I need you to do this because this is not something we talk about or we know about. And I can tell you why I know. Let me tell you why I know about it. I was the regional financial aid director for Strayer University. That means I was over top of all their schools across their nations. I handled their financial aid. When you call and find out who's holding your loans, and you can look at departmentofed.com.edu and you can find out who's the holder of your loans. Call them, tell them you want to consolidate your loan, but tell them you want an income-driven repayment plan. Listen to these words: income-driven repayment plan. If you call them and they're not asking you for your bills and your expenses, you do not have an income-driven repayment plan. You either have a gradual payment plan, but it's not income-driven. You have to escalate to the next level and ask for an income-driven repayment plan. Because there are people who I can tell you I work with who are paying as little as $10 a month. But if you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. That's why it's so crucial when I say in the world of finances, in the world of mortgage, in the world of real estate, you really want to work with people who have a broad knowledge of the whole base so that they can better protect you. I can't tell you enough. Like I said, I dare you to bet on you. I dare you to want to win. Don't you deserve it? Don't sit on that step acting like you don't know how to play jacks. Don't sit on that step to act like you can't hoop that ball. You better get up and shoot. It's your time. Only thing you need to do is take a step. Take a leap of faith. Because we ain't missing. We ain't missing. I don't care if you got to grab on my back and I got to put you on my soldiers so we can make the home run happen. But it's about the team. I can't even stress to you enough how much you are so deserving of a home. I can't stress to you enough as a homeowner how much you are so deserving of some relief to get that choke off your neck, because those credit card debts is choking people out. Do something. Don't just listen to these videos. It's on you. And I dare you. I dare you to take some action.
How to reach you, Miss Setzer?
Well, again, each one must teach one. I'm a firm believer. And I'm going to leave here empty. I don't know about y'all, but when I leave here, I'm going to be able to say, God, I was on my assignment and I woke up every day asking for your guidance in the assignment. Because believe me, we have so many people who disbelieve. It's almost like I got to peel back the layers of the onion just so they can see that it's possible. And they don't even realize all you got to do is close their eyes and it's possible. It's possible.
So if somebody wanted to reach you to get some help, how do they reach you?
Sure, you can reach me on my cell, and I say text me. It's 443-929-7772. My Instagram is My Mortgage Queen 1. My Mortgage Queen 1. You can reach me on Facebook, and I got an unusual name. So basically what I tell people, YouTube The Mortgage Queen Baltimore. And it'll spell out my name because it's kind of long. But of course, you can call Marcel. He knows how to reach me. That's the dream player right there. You're talking about a dream team? We're going to have you in a house in less than 45 days. All you have to do is take a chance. We know it's possible. We know you deserve it. Come on. I dare you. Give us a call.
Mortgage Queen. The Mortgage Queen. You've heard it straight from the Mortgage Queen herself. Don't waste time. Give her a call, give me a call. Let's get you into a home. Miss Mortgage Queen, I appreciate you once again. The last time we had you on, we had to cut it, but this time we got full everything from you. And I appreciate you for what you do, the time that you spent with us, the people. And we hope that we can work together and help many people become homeowners. And we'd love to have you back to talk about some later things as well. Appreciate you for your time.
Thank you so much.
This is another episode of Hump Day Real Estate with Kendall, and we're signing off. Catch you next week.